Hello, Namaste yogis. My name is Katie Nesbitt, and today we're going to be working on some of our foundational yogic pranayama techniques. So we'll be working through Dirga Pranayama, which is this deep belly breath. We'll be working through that with the three compartments, really trying to focus our attention into these different areas of the torso that we'll be expanding into with our breath. We'll then work into a nice evenness to our breath with some of Vritti, and then moving into the option for Ujjayi Pranayama as well. So let's get started. Get yourself nice and comfortable. You can sit on a bolster, on a pillow, maybe a folded blanket, and crossing the legs out in front of you, just rest your palms down on the legs and begin to close your eyes. We're going to start off just tuning into our natural breath, just to center our energy, to really arrive within our practice. So as you sit, notice the areas of your body that are touching the ground or the floor beneath you. If you're sitting on something, notice those sitting bones grounding into that pillow or cushion or directly on your yoga mat. And coming more fully into our body, can you imagine those areas that are touching something beneath you, grounding down, rooting you here in this moment and in your practice? And then from the waist up, can you feel a lifting sensation? Lengthening through the spine, rolling those shoulders back and down, and stacking the shoulders directly above the hips. And then notice your neck and head. Can you stack the ears above the shoulders? And perhaps drawing the chin down and in slightly to feel even more lengthening and lifting through the neck. Crown of the head floating up towards the sky as you continue to stay grounded through the lower body. And from this tall seated position, begin to connect and observe your natural flow of breath. Feeling into your inhalations, feeling through the exhalations, and even noticing that subtle pause at the top and bottom of your breath. Observing the quality of your breath, the rhythm and pace of your breath. Noticing where you feel your breath the most. Do you feel the breath around the nose and nostrils? Do you feel the breath inside of the throat? Do you feel the breath more in the chest or upper back? Or do you feel the gentle movement of the belly, expanding and softening on each breath? And there's no right or wrong answer here to where you feel the breath the most within your body today. It just is. Maybe you choose to rest your attention in that spot, connecting to your full cycle of breath. And by bringing your full attention into your breath, do you notice any subtle transformations, any subtle changes to the breath just by focusing on it? Maybe naturally the inhale will become a little more expansive. Maybe the exhale will become a little longer and softer. Maybe if you are feeling any rigidity to the breath at the beginning, perhaps it's starting to smooth out. without forcing any changes, just observing, witnessing. Take another minute here, full awareness to your natural breath. And if you feel the urge or the desire for the next few breaths, if you'd like to breathe in through the nose and sigh the breath out of the mouth, that's an option for you as well. I consider this to be a more cleansing and clearing breath. If you're taking that option, just notice any subtle changes and how it feels to exhale and sigh the breath out of the mouth. One more mindful breath. And then gently blinking your eyes open, just noticing how you feel after that simple awareness to the breath to begin our practice. We will now be bringing a lot more attention into our breath, this full scope, full length of our breath. So with Dirga Pranayama, we want to focus on the breath, traveling all the way down to the lowest part of the belly, and then working its way, filling its way all the way up into the upper part of the chest. And as you exhale, you'll reverse that direction, exhaling from the chest all the way down to the belly. So it's this full body breathing here from the lower belly all the way up into the chest, exhaling from the chest all the way down through the belly. We'll be breathing in and out of the nose for this pranayama technique, and we'll be starting off by breaking it into 3 different sections. So we're going to be bringing our full awareness into this lower compartment here of the lowest part of the belly. So to help, I would recommend bringing your hands onto your belly. You can keep the eyes open, just gazing at one spot on the ground, or you can close your eyes. And now as you breathe in, please breathe in through the nose and feel that belly expand into your palms. And as you exhale, gently draw the belly in, the subtle contraction, squeezing that navel in towards the spine to release that breath. Inhale, filling that belly up like a balloon. Exhale, releasing that breath through the nose by squeezing that belly in. Inhale deep into the belly, dropping the breath way down into the torso. Exhale, actively pulling the belly in to release all of that breath. Keeping this action isolated in the belly, breathing in, pulling the belly in as you breathe out. So we're moving to this diaphragmatic breath, where as you inhale, that diaphragm lowers down, pushing the belly and organs out a bit. Exhale, pull the belly in, release that breath. One more time. And after that exhale, just lower the hands onto the knees. You can close the eyes, and we're just going to sit in a brief observation. Notice how it feels in the body to drop that breath down into the belly. Maybe noticing any subtle effects to the mind or your energy. And then when you're ready, blinking your eyes open. We're now going to bring the breath more into the center region of our torso. So I'd like for you to bring your hands now onto your lower rib cage. So the palms are at your side torso and the fingers sort of wrap around the front of the rib cage. We're going to try to isolate the breath to this area. So the lower part of the lungs is where we're breathing into now. So as you inhale through the nose, feel the rib cage expand into your palms. And as you exhale, feel the rib cage contract in. Breathing into the side rib cage, feeling the lower lungs fill up. And exhale, gentle softening and contraction. Continue to isolate the breath in this area, the hands acting as feedback. Pressing the rib cage into the palms as you inhale, feeling that expansion. Feeling that softness as you exhale. Inhale, stretching through those intercostal muscles, those little muscles that hold the ribs together. And as you exhale, the intercostals soften. 2 more times. Isolating the breath to the lower part of the lungs, feeling the lungs fill up inside of the rib cage. One more. And after your exhale, gently lower the hands down to the legs and just sitting here in quiet observation. Maybe noticing more of an openness to the rib cage. Maybe feeling your natural breath just fill up and expand a little bit more. A few more breaths. And then blinking your eyes open once again. So we're now going to move our attention into the upper region here of our torso. We'll be bringing our hands onto our chest. We're only going to take about 3 rounds of this breath. And the reason why is when we shorten our breath here just to the upper part of the chest, we could create more tension within our body, maybe even a little bit more anxiety than what we want to create. We don't want to cause a stress response within the body. So we're just going to do a few rounds of this just to feel all the way up into the upper part of the chest. Now, I do want to mention that the majority of our society, we breathe into this region day to day. So that's why this Dirga Pranayama is going to help us to find this greater expansiveness, pulling in more oxygen, more energy, more healing into the body. When we only breathe into the upper part of the chest region, we feel tightness, we feel constriction. We may even bring about a feeling of stress within ourselves. So just notice what you feel for yourself as we bring the hands onto the upper chest, right below the collarbones. And I want you to try to isolate the breath right here into this upper region of the chest, the upper part of the lungs. So as you breathe in, just send that breath to the upper chest. Exhale, let that breath out. The breath will be shortened. 2 more times. Feeling that chest expand into the hands. 1 more time. And then lower the hands down. Just notice any effects there. Did the shoulders start to tighten up at all? Did you feel that you were breathing up even higher into the chest with that focus and the hands resting on the chest? Sitting here in observation. And now we are going to begin putting all 3 of those areas together. So as I mentioned at the beginning, with this Dirga Pranayama, we'll be breathing in through the nose, and I want you to try to fill up from the lowest part of the belly first, then feel that breath rising up into that mid-torso or the lower lungs, and then feel that breath rise all the way up towards the collarbones, filling up the entire cavity here. Okay, and then as we exhale, you'll exhale through the nose, out from the upper chest, down through the mid torso, down through their lower belly, and all the way out. And then we'll continue. So we're going to move with this breath for a good 5 minutes or so that you can really feel this full expansive nature filling up like a wave and releasing back down again. Okay. Hands will rest down on the knees or the thighs, or hands can rest in the lap. Close your eyes when you feel ready. Sit up tall. And then imagining that expansive nature as you breathe in through the nose, filling up into the lower part of the belly, filling all the way up into the mid part of the torso, all the way up into the upper part of the chest and upper back. Then exhale from the nose, from the chest, down through the torso, all the way down through the belly, even pulling the navel in to release all of that breath, creating more space for another deep inhale, breathing into the belly, into the lungs, all the way up into the upper part of the chest. Exhale from the nose, all the way down from the chest, down to the belly, squeezing that breath out. Inhaling to the lower belly, filling all the way up like that wave. Exhaling from the top, all the way down to the bottom. Inhaling from the bottom, filling up into the top. Exhale from the top all the way down to the bottom. Continuing on your own, feeling the expansive nature, this gentle control of the breath, this deep yogic breath. Noticing if the breath tends to catch anywhere while you're breathing in or you're breathing out, and trying to smooth it out. Expanding that breath inside of the torso in all four directions as you breathe in, and still sitting up tall as you breathe out, and the torso may feel as though it's softening in a bit. This activating inhale, breathing into the belly all the way up into the chest. And this softening exhale from the chest all the way down to the belly. Continuing for about 3 more minutes. Keeping the mind fully focused on this breath. Feeling this wave-like flow to the breath. Focused attention. Noticing how this breath may feel different within your physical body. How this breath may feel different to your energetic body. few more rounds. And let's take one more round of Dirga Pranayama, feeling into it fully. And then returning to a natural breath in and out of the nose. If you want to take a few rounds of a more gently cleansing breath, you can breathe in through the nose and gently sigh it out of the mouth. We'll now sit for a few minutes, simply observing the effects of Dirga Pranayama. Noticing the effects to the physical body, or any effects to your natural breath now from when we first sat down to pay attention to our breath. Maybe something has changed within your energy or your mind. And simply witness that. Allowing the breath to flow in and out with as much ease as possible. As we sit in observation for about another minute. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose, filling up. Part the lips, gently sigh that breath out of the mouth. And then if you would like, you can blink the eyes open for a moment, just taking in your surroundings. Noticing again just how that breath may have felt within the body, within the mind, within the spirit. And if you need to make any adjustments to how you're sitting before we move into our next pranayama technique, you may do that. Maybe switch the crossing of the legs. Maybe making any other adjustments. And we'll be moving into Samavritti. So this is a breath technique that we will be matching the same length of the inhale to the same length of the exhale. So we're doing more of a basic Samavritti. So just the inhale and exhale we will be matching. In other variations of Samavritti, you would be matching the inhale with the hold at the top, with the exhale and the hold at the bottom. But for this time, we're just going to be inhaling to about a count of 4, holding at the top for a moment, and exhaling the breath to a count of 4. Holding for a moment at the bottom of the breath and inhaling to 4, exhaling down from 4. So I will guide you through this. I will then offer up another pranayama technique called Ujjayi Pranayama. So that is a technique that is used often in vinyasa flow classes where you're pairing your breath with your movement. With that breath technique, we want to keep that samavritti of that same length of the inhale to the same length of the exhale, but then we're going to start to put a constriction to the back of the throat. So you want to try to activate that area a bit. And you'll be feeling the breath a lot more around the throat area. You'll be feeling a subtle vibration. Your breath may become a little bit more audible to yourself. It's often called the ocean breath or the Darth Vader breath as well. So we will begin to move into that, but we're going to do this in stages first so that we can really keep that full awareness as to how to build into Ujjayi Pranayama. Okay, so resting your hands down on the legs, closing your eyes, sitting up tall, shoulders back and down. Stacking the shoulders over the hips, feeling tall and upright. And again, let's begin with a cleansing breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, letting it go. We'll begin by counting silently to yourself. I will count out loud for the inhales and the exhales, but go at your own pace. So when you are ready, on your next inhale, let's inhale to a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentle hold at the bottom. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue to count on your own for the next minute, evening out the pace of your breath, matching the length of the inhale with the length of the exhale, the Vritti, same breath. Feeling into the evenness of the breath, of the fluctuations of the breath, the vrittis. Balancing it out. Continuing with this count until you really fall into this rhythm. Inhaling to 4, exhaling to 4. And you can continue to silently count, or you can let that counting fade away, but try to keep that evenness to the breath. And now before we move into our Ujjayi Pranayama, I'd like for us to practice the feeling within the throat. So a good way to practice this is to imagine that you're exhaling out of the mouth to fog up a mirror. So to practice this, you can bring one hand in front of your mouth and take a deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, exhale with that ha noise, as though you're trying to fog up a mirror. So let's do that a few times. Inhale. Noticing that little constriction in the throat as you continue. Let's do that one more time. Feeling that warmth against the hand. Now this time, breathe in through the nose, close the lips. Try to find that same noise and same action as you exhale through the nose. Feeling that little vibration in your throat, breathing in through the nose. Exhale through the nose, constricting the throat. Hearing the breath a little louder for yourself. Even trying to drop that constriction down towards the base of the throat a bit more. And once you feel comfortable doing that on the exhale, try to keep that constriction as you inhale, finding that same noise, that same feeling as you breathe in. Trying to keep that constriction of the throat on your inhalation and your exhalation. The noise or the sound of your breath will become a little bit more audible, but you don't want to force it. You wouldn't want somebody across the room to be hearing you, but you want to be able to hear that noise a little bit more. Keeping the lips soft, the tongue soft. Pulling that breath in with control and releasing the breath with control. And then coming back to that same evenness to the breath, even counting to 4 on the inhale, counting down from 4 on the exhale. So we bring in this evenness to the breath, as well as the constriction in the throat. This Ujjayi Pranayama is a pranayama technique that can really help to focus the mind. Can help to heat the body, to warm up the body from the inside out. And as you constrict around the throat and the larynx, that will help to stimulate the vagus nerve, which will help to create a greater sense of calmness to the nervous system. Breathing in with control, breathing out with control. Finding your rhythm, your pace that feels right for you, but keeping that evenness to the inhales and the exhales. We will continue for about 5 more minutes with Ujjayi Pranayama. Relaxing any tension around the shoulders, allowing the breath to be as full as it can be. The exhales to feel complete. This balanced breath. Being aware of how each inhalation feels as you draw it into the body, and how each exhalation feels as you release it with control. Noticing if any tension is building up in the face or the jaw. Try to relax those areas as you stay with the breath. Filling up fully on your inhalation and exhaling completely. A few more minutes of this focused breath. Continuing to sit up tall, 1 more minute. Last few mindful rounds of Ujjayi Pranayama. And then take a deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth. Release the breath out of the mouth with ease. Releasing our Ujjayi Pranayama. Maybe another breath or two like that. And settling back into a natural breath. Noticing the effects of your Ujjayi breath. Just noticing how you feel overall within the body, within the mind, even the heart and the spirit. Being aware of how this focused breath technique can naturally lead you into a meditation. Perhaps you created a little more space between your thoughts with those breath techniques, allowing you to come more fully into the moment, breath by breath. And we'll be continuing with this focus in our meditation, moving into a more simple mindfulness-based meditation, bringing our full awareness into our natural breath. Mindfulness meditation is all about being present intentionally in a state of non-judgment. So as we move into mindfulness, being aware that anything that you're observing is simply there, without attaching to any feelings or sensations, but just noticing, sitting in observation without judging anything that you're feeling. Simply being aware of it, watching it, maybe even getting a little more curious with it in the moment. So, with mindfulness techniques, using the breath as an anchor is a great place. You can also use any parts of the body as an anchoring point to keep you in the moment, non-judgmentally. So let's first bring our attention back into the physical body. Noticing the legs as they connect to the earth below you. Maybe noticing anything that you're feeling in the legs. You may be feeling even a little tingling or sensation in the legs or the feet from sitting during our pranayama practice. But can you just be there with it, without changing it, without judging it? Simply observing. And working our way up the body, can you bring your attention now into the spine and the torso? From your tailbone all the way up through the cervical spine and neck. Awareness into the belly, whatever you're feeling there, again, without judging it. Just feeling the gentle rise and fall of the belly with each breath. Moving your awareness now a little bit higher up into the lungs and the chest. Feeling the lungs fill up inside of the rib cage. Noticing what you feel. Do you have any tightness or any tension that has built up in the belly or the chest or along the back region? And can you observe that for what it is? And maybe you try to intentionally soften those areas without forcing anything, just inviting in a feeling of softness. And working your way up into the shoulders and down through the arms, hands, and fingers. Observing how the arms feel. Perhaps they feel heavy and weighted. The hands may feel relaxed and open, whether the palms are down or the palms are flipped up. Can you just connect to the shoulders and the arms without any judgment, without wanting to make any changes or forcing anything different? Just being with what is. And working your attention up through the neck and the throat. Your awareness into the jaw, the mouth, the lips, the cheekbones, up through the eyes and the forehead. Awareness to the ears and the back of the head, all the way up to the top of your head. Being with what is, feeling into it. And bringing your mindful awareness into one area of your body, a neutral area of the body. So maybe it's the hands or the feet. Maybe you want to bring attention into the shoulders or an area of the face. And just try to hold your mindful attention in that one area. If you have your awareness in the hands or the feet, can you feel any pulsation of blood streaming through those areas? Any tingling, any warmth or coolness? And hold your attention there. If you have your attention somewhere else, such as the shoulders or an area of the face, can you bring your full awareness there? Notice what you feel, what you sense. And maybe you invite in a feeling of softness, of letting go of any tension, not forcing it, just allowing for the release. Being here in this present moment, in this one area of your physical body. The mind will wander at times, and we just notice that. And we guide the mind back into that area of the body. And you can continue to hold your attention in this one spot on your body, or you can begin to shift your attention now into your breath, making the breath your anchor point in this mindfulness meditation. Bringing your awareness back into the feeling of the inhalation, into the feeling of the exhalation, without changing anything actively, just observing this moment through the breath. Noticing the path of your breath as you breathe in through the nose, that air and breath travels into the throat, down into the lungs, and that belly expands as the diaphragm lowers down. And as you exhale, following that path of the breath, out of the lungs, up through the throat, and out of the nose. That diaphragm contracting on each inhale and releasing on each exhale. And you can stay with this path of the breath if you would like. Or similar to what we did with the physical body, bring your mind into one spot on the body where you feel the breath the most. And you hold your attention there. But if for any reason holding your attention in that area creates any tension inside of you, try to refocus the mind to another area. Continuing to keep the mind in this present moment, breath by breath, and what you're feeling, any sensations, and being there in a non-judgmental way. We will continue here for about 5 more minutes of mindfulness, knowing that the mind will wander, that is natural. But as soon as you recognize that wandering mind, be aware of it. That is mindfulness right there. And you pull the mind back into the moment by focusing on the breath or focusing on an area of the body, your anchoring point, bringing you back into the present. Noticing where your mind is in this moment, and if it wandered, that's okay. Just pull it back, bring it back into the body or back into the breath. Last few minutes, trying to keep your attention in the body or the breath in this mindful moment. No matter how many times the mind wanders, just keep bringing it back. And knowing that some days may feel easier to hold your attention in the body or the breath. Other days may be a little bit more challenging, but that's okay. It's all a part of the practice. We meet ourselves where we are in a non-judgmental way, feeling into the moment, into the present time, breath by breath. And to begin shifting out of this stillness and meditation and mindfulness, let's take a deep breath in through the nose, really fill up with that breath once again. Open your mouth and gently let that breath out. A few more breaths like that. It's deeply cleansing breaths. One more time. Keeping your eyes closed, just begin to notice the hands as they rest on your legs. Maybe even press the legs down a little bit, being even more mindful of your body, connecting even deeper. Maybe rolling the shoulders around, noticing what the body may be wanting right now after sitting for this last hour. Maybe rolling the head around. And then sitting up tall, open heart, relaxed shoulders, maybe even a little smile across your face. And recognizing how you feel right now after our pranayama practice and our meditation practice. Full awareness. And as you feel ready, in gratitude, we bring our palms together at our heart for Anjali Mudra, this mudra of offering. So offering out gratitude for this practice that we have, this practice that we can continue to come back to, we can continue to connect with, and we can evolve through these practices. Bowing your head down towards your heart, towards that inner guide, being grateful for our yoga, our pranayama, our meditation, being grateful for all that we have, for everyone who's in our life, and for all that we are. Let's take one more breath together to close out our practice. Deep inhale through the nose. And softly let it out of the mouth. And as you're ready, you'll gently lift the chin and blink the eyes open. Thank you so much. Namaste.